G'day everyone, I'm Xray Racer 1. Welcome to part 2 of the Xray xb4 buggy build series. In part 2 we're going to be starting off with the build, and we are starting off with building the front and rear diffs. Now, to save time, what I have done is I have already built one diff. So that's it right there. So yeah, as they say on TV, here's one I prepared earlier. So the reason why I did one diff first is to save on time, plus it gives me a chance to go through it and see what I have to do before I do the filming. Now, one of the things I'll mention too before I actually start, the gears, they are plastic, so they come in like a little plastic part tree sort of thing, so you have to cut them out of the parts tree. And also what you need to do is there's like a little bit of flashing on the sides of the gears with a scalpel. You can carefully cut off the flashing. And also, for a little quick tip, when you have to put one of the pins into the diff here, if you look closely, you may not be able to see on the moulding, there's a little hump here that helps when you put the pin in for the for one of the drive cups here, and I'll show you when I build that. So first let's start with the build. What we need first, we'll start is with one of the main gear here. We need an O-ring, and we need a washer and a pin, and one of the drive cups. Now what we need to do is get a bit of oil, put the oil on there just to lubricate it. Put that in. Then we get the O-ring. Put that in. And we get a washer. And then we get the pin. Needs a little bit of force. There we go. Okay, so that's that part done. Oh, and we need a gear, obviously. So we put the gear in like that. Okay, now this is the part where I was telling you about the little moulding on the side here of the diff housing. Okay, so drive cup, little O-ring, and a washer, a pin, and a gear. Okay, so again, put a bit of oil, place that through, put the O-ring in. Now with this part here, because it's in the housing, you've got just a tool just to put it in, just settle it in. Okay, washer, and that just settles down. Now here comes the fun part. So this is the part where that moulding comes in handy. So you line up the hole on the housing, on the drive cup, with the diff housing mould, and with pliers excuse me folks. Okay, that's that in. and we put the gear in. Okay, now that's that part there. Okay, now we get our idle gears. Okay, then we got our 4 washers. Okay, so that's that part there. Now we carefully place them in. Okay, so that's that part done. Now what we need to do is fill the diff with oil. Now when you're filling the diff, in this case the instruction manual says to not have the oil go above the top of the crossbar there. So what we need to do is we have to slowly fill it. And I find going around like I'm doing here just helps it. Helps the oil settle down inside. And what I like to do as well is I like to get the gears. Just gotta make sure you push them down a bit, like that. I find just turning it helps with moving the oil around. Okay, a little bit more. Alrighty. Now you probably can't really see it too well, but that's at the maximum level. So now what we do is we need to put the diff housing on a flat surface. Okay, now what we need now is this little gasket, and we need to line it up with the holes on the gear. And what I'll do is I'll just put one through here at the moment. And then sometimes the gear will come out, so what I'll do is I'll place the gear on top there, and I'll just line that up with the hole, and with a 1.5mm screw just start to need a little bit of effort. So that's got that in, that's lined up. It's always a bit of a hassle, a bit of a fight sometimes I find with some of these kits. Just turn that. There we go. Now I'll just put all the other screws into the holes. and just use a little bit of effort to push it in until it grabs the hole and starts to thread itself in. And don't, when you're doing it, don't, because you've got to remember this is plastic, and I'll probably sound like a parrot through this build series, but don't over tighten the screws. When you feel it start to go tight like that, you stop. And there you have it, folks. That is the rear diff and the front diff. So that's the end of part 2, and stay tuned for part 3.